Ottawa. Where is this? I'm talking like for the city, like where is this? Is this not, like we need this stuff. I'm tired of waking up.
There's like a little box, you just walk, I'm just gonna go to the box real quick.
By the time I finish work, let's say like we just started a new month, I struggle to find time to go pay for my Presto. Like I would like to be able to go to a station even if like the in-person is closed, but I could just go like at a machine or whatever. I think in Toronto, the metro system,
they have the Presto machines, but
you don't need to go to someone for that. That's smart for campus anyway.
Power is everywhere when I talk about it. Power Circle, Season 2, Episode 5, Reggie Cash.
I'm Cassie B.
Today we got special guests in the building.
Yes, we've got the United group. That is, so I wasn't sure how to say it. You're running for student body, right?
Yes.
Yes, sorry. I am political, but not like campus. You know? Okay. So yes, this episode today is going to be a little different. You know, usually we have our flashback, and then we do our interview, and then we have hot topics, flop star of the week, relationship. But our episode today is going to be mostly dedicated to the United group today, from the other side, right? Because I'm from the better side. From the other side, sorry.
The better side.
That's how I am. But let's all start with our flashback. So tomorrow's Super Bowl.
Yes,
So I think we got the same team.
Are you going for the Patriots?
Oh, I'm not an Eagles person. I'm not an Eagles person. I think that even though the Eagles made it to the Super Bowl, I do not think they're going to win the Super Bowl.
Well, I like how you think. I'll be very honest. With that being said, I am extremely stressed.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to sleep properly for the past 3 days. Patriots will win the Super Bowl tomorrow. I don't know how. I'm not going to predict. I have a lot of money on this game.
Oh, you put money on the game?
Of course I had to. Well, it's not my fault, you know. Like I get trapped in these type of environments where I'm forced to bet. That's what happened. You see what I'm saying? We are the underdogs, not the Eagles. And Tony, I don't know what you're saying, but like we are the underdogs. Eagles are the better team. If you look at it on paper, they have a running game. They have a better front seven. We just got a better quarterback and a better coach. You see what I'm saying? So, with that being said, I expect it to be a good game, but Patriots should win 26-17. That's my prediction.
Well, okay, I'm not that specific. I just think they're going to win the game.
And I want to make this very clear on Power Circle to all my haters, Cass, that hate me on Facebook. And this goes to PA. This goes to Mitch, your boy. This might be deleted if we lose. But if we win, I'm coming after you all. You all. Like the game should be done at 9 o'clock. 9:01, I'm on Facebook Live. 9:15, I'm on your inbox. And at 9:35, I'm in your DMs. So that's my Super Bowl predictions.
All right. I'm not that specific. I can't talk football. I only watch it because I used to watch it before, and now I just watch it because my boyfriend watches it, you know, and I know he's
a Steelers fan?
Yeah, yes, he is. Like, he's very upset. The way they lost is very, very sad. But yeah, I think he has the Eagles.
I feel like everybody's like Eagles.
Yeah, you know what? I was listening to Breakfast Club, and they were saying how it was Charlamagne the God that was saying, Philly people, would you rather Philadelphia free Meek Mill or the Eagles winning the Super Bowl?
Eagles winning the Super Bowl. 100%. See, the thing is, Eagles fans are the worst fans known to mankind. They booed Santa Claus.
Yeah.
How are you going to support a team that boos Santa?
I don't know.
And like, I thought it was a joke. Go on YouTube, right? Eagles fans booing Santa Claus. They booed Santa.
That's sad.
It's horrible.
So yeah, well, I guess tomorrow's Super Bowl, guys, I will be watching for sure. You will be watching for sure.
We'll be together.
Yes.
Vlogging.
Yes.
This experience.
Yes. I'm gonna be stressed because Reggie's gonna be stressed, and I feed off her stress.
It's a bit stress though. Like, remember Mayweather? I was a bit stressed. No. I thought that was okay for Mayweather. I honestly believe that was okay for Mayweather. No?
No, I don't think so.
I don't remember what happened, but I think I was good.
I still have the videos.
There's videos.
There's videos. So that's it for Super Bowl. How to Get Away with Murder this week. I had such a crazy week. I passed out during the airing of the show, but I made sure I watched it yesterday.
Wait, we gotta make sure we don't spoil for you tonight.
Yes, we're not gonna spoil. So how are we gonna do this? What happened?
Okay, so How to Get Away with Murder. Exhibit A came into the picture after last week's episode where the way it ended.
Yes.
So Exhibit A came, and then big trials going on.
Yes.
I'm still thinking that Exhibit A is a problem, right?
She is a problem.
She's a heavy problem because I'm like, Annalise was out. Remember when Annalise was out?
They're outside.
They're outside?
And she's trying, Annalise is trying
to like coach her, prep her.
Well, no, what she's doing is trying to not have her take the stand. And she still took the stand. And I think it was going not Annalise's way until Annalise started asking these questions, and then Exhibit A responded in a way that benefited the girl.
100%.
But then we find out that Exhibit A
is crazy.
Is a crazy person. But the girl doesn't know that Exhibit A is a reason for some stuff that happened previously.
Exhibit A is a shiesty ass person.
Yeah.
Because I believed her. I believed her issues to realize that it was all a game. And then the way it ends. See, Bonnie, there's something's gonna happen to Bonnie or Frank.
I know, and it's kind of
It's
sad.
breaking my heart.
I know. I was mentally trying to prepare myself for anything like that. I'm stressed. I rather Frank, to be honest. What? You like Bonnie? Ish.
No.
I like Frank though. Frank is.
You just said you'd rather something happen to Frank than Bonnie.
Well.
But yo, that means.
Frank, Bonnie went on the other side.
Wait, question for you. That means Exhibit C, that we saw at the end. No, Exhibit B. I'm making it more easier. Exhibit B, that was with Exhibit A. So Exhibit A, we know who's Exhibit A, right?
Yes.
Exhibit B is who we saw at the end in the flashback, the phone call.
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
That means Exhibit B.
Came in.
Yeah. Kanye. Yeah. Get it?
You mad?
Oh my God.
The one that's
Exhibit
half
A?
Haitian. The one that was half Haitian on the show.
Oh, from Exhibit A. Exhibit A is the reason why? Yes, okay, yes.
Oh,
I think there's something fishy. There's some
He
foreshadowing.
keeps saying that. I don't think that Exhibit B is. He thinks Exhibit B is
Yes,
still part of the show?
I think so.
I don't know.
Don't think too hard.
It
Don't
just
think
looks.
Do not think too
Our
hard.
guests are trying to
Don't
figure out where
think.
it takes.
This seems like this moment. I understand. I get it. So yes, so How to Get Away with Murder update. Please let us know. That's pretty much it.
No, wait, and don't forget, March 1st is the crossover from Scandal.
And How to Get Away with Murder.
Yes.
See,
Yes.
this is my issue with Scandal. My beef with Scandal is that
What is it?
I watch at least 3 episodes, but like it's not real legit episodes. It's like How to Get Away with Murder is coming out today.
Yeah.
No, 5 minutes before, and there's always some next level sauce. Like, Olivia, you killed her? I'm like, shit, Olivia's killing people. I'm like, Olivia's a murderer. I can't wait to see this. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. And then, good old Garno High School. We call it Garn Barn. I went to Garno High School for most of my high school. So we find out this week that the FBI is involved in something that happened. So we hear that it's basically a love story gone wrong. So there's this girl, I guess, that was talking to someone who went to Gatineau, previously went to Gatineau. Or no, she was talking to that person who the FBI is looking for. And that person stole the identity and did what he did because she went and talked to the Gatineau person, right?
I missed like half of what you said, but it's so this guy from the States was seeing this girl.
Yeah.
Don't know if she's from Ghana or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then they broke up, and that girl was dating that guy that got swatted.
Yeah.
And then that guy got pissed off and then did what he did.
Yeah. So that's why that person from the U.S. somewhere sent an email Sunday, like late Sunday night, to most of the Gatineau teachers, and that morning they sent an email to parents saying, listen, the school is closed, you know, like it's not safe, whatever. And that morning the police thought they arrested the right person, they swatted the right person, but ended up being the wrong person. And that person had their identity stolen by that U.S. person.
So it was a catfish?
It wasn't a catfish. It's basically you, like you're talking to a girl, she leaves you for another person, and now you want to revenge that person. But in a very, very shady way. Like this person, I read the article where this kid is saying basically, he got a phone call at like 5 or 6 a.m. from someone, he doesn't know who it is, but it was a woman, and she's basically saying there's a threat in the neighborhood to come outside. So he goes outside, but keep in mind that this person just woke up. So he doesn't really know what's going on. Goes outside, and then he's like, I noticed there's like 4 police people. But then when I like actually opened my eyes, it wasn't police, it was 14 SWAT people telling me to get on my knees. And they all had their guns like pointed at him. Yeah, and he's like, but anyway, you know what, like they treated me right, they didn't do anything wrong, like they did what they had to do. He spent the night in jail.
Was he
gave
white?
him, we don't know.
They don't say.
We know, but he spent the night in jail, they gave him orange juice and muffin. No muffins.
He spent the night in jail?
Yeah, they took him to jail. Yeah, they take you into custody.
I would have sued them so hard.
No, he's not angry at them apparently. He didn't come off as angry.
I don't know what to
But anyway, so now the FBI is involved and we still don't know who this person is. I checked for updates this morning, there's no updates, so.
And this person in the States, do they know where in the States?
No. Well, you know what? They probably haven't updated anything in the news. They probably know more than what we know right now.
And they won't
right?
tell us the truth.
And we probably won't know until they actually make a statement.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm happy I like my sister said, I'm happy I graduated when I did. And shout out to the parents that wake up really early to actually read their emails, because I would have sent my kid to school not knowing, to be honest. So that's our flashback. So we're gonna take a few seconds and then we're gonna come back with our interview with UNI.E.S. And we're back with our guest for today, UNI.E.S from the University of Ottawa. How are you all doing?
Good.
Good. So for our listeners and viewers, I want to explain to you how we're going to do this. So typically we have like 5 questions that we ask and then we make the conversation from there. But we're going to make this interview a little different. So we do have 3 interview general questions for all of you, and then the second part of the interview is going to be questions in this box that we've come up with, and we're gonna pull them out, and then you decide if it's it's a question for a specific person, because sometimes it is, they can answer, or you can decide who you think is better to answer, but they are obviously in relation to you running and to campus issues, student issues, all that. So, do you want to start the interview?
Yes, let me start it off. So, who are you? What do you do? And when did you join the organization? So, whoever wants to start first, you start first.
President?
So, first question is, who I am?
Yeah, who are you? What do you do? And when did you join the organization? The federation?
So, my name is Rizki Rashik. I'm a 5th year student in economics with a minor in business. I'm the current VP Finance, and I joined the SFU, the Student Federation, in May 2016. And since then, I got a lot of experience. I manage the HR department. I deal with the health plan for students, and I take care of budgets. And this year, I helped a lot for the event side, the social portfolio, where we organize a concert, show. Recently we had NISCA show on January 13th, and yeah, next year I hope I'm going to be president. Most likely the president is the leader dealing with the health plan again, and also supporting my team, the executive, the United team. That's pretty much it.
Alright, my name is Axel Gaga. I'm the current Vice President University Affairs of the Student Federation. I've been involved since fall 2016 as a board member, and then I run to the position I'm in right now. I take care of the U.N.E.S, every campaign that we organize at the Federation, and the Student Rights Center that takes care of academic justice for students. And then we run a lot of events. I'm really proud of Ball for the Cure, our basketball tournament to raise money and awareness toward AIDS, and a campaign for sexual violence prevention and mental health coming soon. Hopefully I'll get elected to the VP operation position, and I'll be able to take care of the financial health of the organization, our spending, helping my colleagues with their project, and making sure that we're reasonable and with the way we spend money.
My name is Katie Booth. I'm running for the position of Vice President External with UNI.E.S, and I started with the organization in August of 2016 as a receptionist. So I helped students with their U.N.E.S, the health plan, I learned about the services and programs offered, and I'm currently the Human Resources Assistant, so I deal with a lot of the internal functionings of the organization. I hope to be elected in this position so I can do more governance work, more work with the administration, help fight tuition fees, cost of housing, food services on campus. I also want to implement 24/7 in-person mental health on campus, create an alumni database to help students get jobs after graduation, things like that.
Hello everyone, my name is Faduma. I'm a fourth-year student studying social sciences with a minor in global studies. I joined the Federation as a volunteer in fall of 2015, and then got a position as a campaigns organizer in August of 2016. And I work alongside with VP UA, Excel over here, he's my supervisor, and I also have a part-time staff too, who's a campaigns organizer. So right now I'm the current campaigns coordinator. We work on different philanthropic campaigns, we work on different initiatives. Like Excel said, we had a huge turnout for Ball for the Cure, it's a success. Same with mental health initiatives, sexual violence prevention, and in March we're hosting a SFUO World Cup in conjunction with the FIFA World Cup in June. So we're really excited for that. I hope to take on the VP social position in the new year based off of the skills and experiences I've had working with the Federation. So I'm really excited to be hosting like rig shows, have a cash boy on there obviously, and so on.
So my name is Pamela Bader. I'm a third-year biology student. I started off with the organization in August as a safety ambassador. I worked my way up to Zoom production, and now I'm the controller general. So essentially I've gained experience working with Fed bodies, and I also sit on the clubs committee. I'm hoping to be elected for VP internal. So this position essentially takes care of student spaces and clubs, and I believe from the experience I've gained, I'd be great for the position.
Awesome. So do we have any future city councilors or MPs here? You guys seem to be super experienced already.
Before we move on to, I would say, the next general question, my question for y'all is United, right? United is something very strong. Who came up just with the idea of just, we are all united? Just tell me a bit about just the historical background, because that name was there last year as well, right? So how did that all come about?
So we took the same name as last year because we know each other for quite a long time. It's not just a couple of people together that gather themselves together to have a team and just to win elections. We know each other work ethic. So everyone, like you see, has experience, and we currently work together. So Monday morning we're still in the office together, so we know each other on the personal level and on the professional. What does that mean? It means that we're united, we're family, and we know each other weakness, strength. We know how to support each other. We know how to respect boundaries of each other. So this is why we kept united, because we believe that all together we can bring a lot to students, and divided no. So this is what I want to focus on. We are a package, we're a family, and as a family we can give the best service to students, and we can give back to students.
And so what motivated you to run during this student election? election. So each of you.
So this student election in specific, as I said, I started with the SFO in August, and moving up, I saw all the great things that SFO did, but I also saw room for improvements. So whether it be clubs or more student spaces for students, I knew that I'd be able to bring that forward. Just with the experience I'm working with, like I said, clubs and event bodies, and being a student myself, I know what the issues are, and so essentially that's why I decided to.
Yeah, similar to Pamela, since I came to the University of Ottawa and got experience learning what the Federation does and volunteering and so on, it was something that I figured I was really passionate about, and I was really keen on making a change. I feel like our campus has no school culture. Going to different university campuses and seeing that they do have a sense of pride and community, and we're lacking that, has been a passion for change for me to kind of jump into this position, so I'm pretty excited.
For myself, I went to the last Board of Governors meeting where administration decided to hike tuition for the 12th consecutive year. We protested, we got kicked out by protection services, and I saw really how much admin was getting away with and how much they weren't caring for the students and how much the students weren't mobilizing to fight that and to fight these changes and decisions that were being made without consultation and on students' behalf that were really not good for the students. So after this, I decided that I wanted to run for this position to fight against it. Every year, administration claims a deficit in their budget, so they hike tuition, but then the next week they go in camera and then they raise their salaries every single year. So there's things that administration is getting away with that the students need to be aware of and need to mobilize to fight against, and I want to help with that.
The reason I ran this year is the same as last year. I consider myself a problem solver, and I ran last year because the way the U.N.E.S was administered, students didn't like it. The wait time was huge. We spent a lot of money off cards. So we thankfully this year we had a rechargeable station. The technology changed, so the operational base of all the U.N.E.S was changed, and the way the campaign were administered as well. So I implemented a request-based system where people can enter a ticket number and then we can follow and help them. And I decided to bring that along to the VP operation as well, because it's one of the positions where students weren't really happy about what's happening, and I like to deconstruct things to understand where the issue is and then rebuild them in a way that's appealing to us. So that's my role.
Myself, I got 2 years of experience as VP Finance, and I think it's the usual way to get to the presidency. But also I have a reason that I don't share often, but I think it's important to have people of color involved. In the past, the Student Federation didn't have that much people of color involved. I don't know if folks were scared to get involved, but it's important to also give that opportunity to folks if they see a president that is not white, that give them the chance to maybe I should run next year. And 40% of the school are students that are people of color. There is 10% international students, and I feel they're not. There is a big distance when it's not a racialized person leading that, and then they can relate to the student leaders. So I think it's important that UNI.E.S is also a mix of different communities, and we're trying to reach out to racialized and indigenous folks.
And you know what, and he has a point, right? Even when you look at the federal level of here, politics in Canada, right? They said, you know, this is how the country is proportioned. So in the House of Commons, it has to be representative of the people in the country. Well, it's the same thing. In school, you know, for the student body, I think that executives also have to be representative of the population in the school. And it is true, I think, Husky, that, you know, a lot of people, most people of color, I think, are afraid of, because they don't think they're not gonna, you know, we're not gonna be given that chance. So why would I run? You know? So I think that's what it is. So you're right.
My question for you, Alexander, is you said the rechargeable stations for the U.N.E.S. When did that come again? It came last year or this year? Well, last one.
came this year. It came at the beginning of my mandate, so May 2017, and then it was a pilot project. So we had to figure out if we worked correctly, the student would be happy with it, and there were some technical issues that we managed to fix. And now going forward with future distribution, everything will be perfectly smooth, and it's a huge boost and help in regard to the wait time. Last year you could have hour-long wait time to get your UPass. Now people didn't wait more than 30 minutes. It was a huge help. And now this year we're trying to integrate the student card and the UPass into one card. So no more wait time for the UPass. At the beginning of the year, once you get your student card, you'll be able to get a UPass as well, and you just wait one time for a single card throughout your entire academic parcours, and just one time thing.
And will that card be rechargeable as well?
It will be rechargeable, and hopefully as well, you could use it to buy things on campus.
So when you say rechargeable, do we mean like you can tap and put money? Where's Ottawa? Where is this? For real, I'm talking like for the city, like where is this? Is this not, like we need this stuff. I'm tired of waking up,
there's like a little box, I'm just gonna go to the box real quick.
By the time I finish work, let's say like we just started a new month, I struggle to find time to go pay for my Presto. Like I would like to be able to go to a station, even if like the in-person is closed, but I could just go like, at a machine or whatever. I think in Toronto, the metro system,
They have the Presto machines, but
and you don't need to go to someone for that. That's smart. For campus anyway, because I know there's a lot.
It's kind of the same. It's the exact same technology as the Presto.
Okay.
The only difference is that when you pay your tuition fee, you also pay for your UPass. So all you have to do is get the card and tap.
Sure. Okay.
The difference with the Presto is you actually have to go on the account and load the card.
Okay. That's so smart though. Cool.
Yeah, I like that idea. When elected, what is I would say the main thing that you'll make a like priority? Like what's the first goal? Once you get into office, what's the first thing you're gonna do? At your new position, at your new office. You can start with you.
School spirit.
There you go.
Honestly, so my biggest thing that I'm running for my platform is to like ensure student athletes especially have a sense of community and like ownership with the university, and feel like not just student athletes are GGs, but all University of Ottawa students are GGs. And like I really want to implement the whole idea of making sure their home games are filled, that their home openers or their homecoming games are absolutely sold out. Like make sure that we have every student able to come see their game, make it accessible as possible, and make sure that these students get the credibility and the recognition that they deserve as student athletes.
Me, I just want to really fight for the students and make them aware of what's happening. So I want to start a student inclusion committee, and I want to make this where administration will have to consult the student inclusion committee made of different like populations on our campus. So we'd have like a francophone chair, we'd have the international students chair, a racialized chair, and this student inclusion committee would be constantly consulted by administration when any decision is being made, and including in the Federation. So I think more representation, make students more aware of what's happening, to be able to better fight for the students. That's my priority.
Well, for me, I'm a man of data. I like information. So I used a lot of survey this year just to understand what the general student population wanted and needed from my position. Regarding finances, there's some information we can disclose, there's some information we can't. I just want to take all the projects we want to make and the amount of money we want to spend on this project and build a tracker so the student can see where their money is going and what we're trying to do with it. And pair that with a system of survey where we know what they want and make sure that the way we're doing this project match with what they actually want to see in terms of artists, in terms of events, where we're trying to put our money in terms of food, if we have any catering, just to make sure that we're spending money exactly where the student want us to spend money.
On top of my platform, so we each have a platform point, but I think a common goal for all of us would be to make sure that the campus is inclusive for all students. So make sure, as Faduma mentioned, it's accessible, that people feel safe when they come into the university. They don't feel like there's, for example, any racist attack. They don't feel like they have to take 7 floors to just get to the UCU because it's not accessible. And then on top of that, I want to work on our club system. So that's one of my platform points. I want to revamp the club's website. There's a lot of glitches in it. I want to revamp our SFUO app. I also want to work closely with the VP operations to make sure that there's a specific budget for clubs, so they're able to do club retreats to get to meet each other. And then I also want to work on student spaces, so get the students the nap pods, so to be able to take naps in the library in a different building instead of driving 40 minutes away from campus to nap and come back. And then I also want to make sure that the library is open 24/7 instead of having to get kicked out at 2 a.m. So just be there for the students and make sure that they get what they need and what they want to make school and everything else easier.
During exams, when you just want to stay on campus.
Yeah.
So I just want people to stay on
So
campus.
you the whole night do the exams
and
and
go
sleep.
home.
And then 2 a.m. they kick you out. You're only allowed on the first floor.
Yeah.
So we want to fix that.
Well, I think my team said it well. We want a federation that gives back to students on different level. On my side, I want to implement scholarships for student athletes based not on the performance. You can be a venture or you can have bad grades. Doesn't matter. You apply to it and you show a need, and then you can be eligible to win that scholarship. And the same way, having a scholarship just for international students because they have the most expensive fees, and there's 10% of our students are international students. Also implementing an SFUO volunteer program where when you spend that many hours in a service center, you're eligible to receive a gift card for groceries. So again, just to help those day-to-day challenges that students face and food insecurity, tuition fees that are always going on. So making sure that we give back.
See, guys, he just said something that's very, very dope. He said student athletes, whether on performance, find a way to give them a scholarship. And that's very big because let's say the scholarship itself per se, in terms of the athletic scholarship, is not enough. They can use that and then they can be like, well, how do we use a dope spot to come? Because not only that, the federation can give me money to come play ball here. And I think that's something that's a very good idea. And I think that's something that for sure, if I'm a student athlete, like, hey, you get my foot right there, I'm like, I'm going how we use. You know what I'm saying? And I have a question in terms of sports and athletics and stuff like that. And this is more in a situation where a lot of students, for example, from high school, some of them have like IEPs. In French, they call it period E.
Oh, okay.
Some of them, they don't learn. Like they have to go into a little classroom to learn. And some of them even then can be eligible to go to university because either way they probably took the wrong route or they just don't have the capacity to learn. However, they're a great athlete, they just don't have enough. Is there a way to figure out in the system to get them to that, I would say, university level, whether you play football, basketball, volleyball, whatever the case may be?
I just have a question. What IEP stands for?
So, Programme d'enseignement individuel.
Okay.
So, en anglais, ça serait individual enseignement. So, pratiquement, c'est PE en français, so programme enseignement individuel.
Yeah.
So, pratiquement, there's a lot of kids that can't learn, like, let's say math, they have to go into a classroom with a teacher, one-on-one, because they can't learn at the same speed. You think there's a way to help these kids at the next level?
On the academic level or not on the sports level?
No, academic level. In terms of just getting them comfortable in university, learning how to study, learning that. Do you think there's ways to do that?
Well, definitely. There is a resource at the university, it's called SAS, but it's not enough, to be honest. And we do have special services in the SFU where we do peer-to-peer help. Again, if it's an international student that has those challenges, we'll make sure to integrate that student in the, for example, the international house where it's a service just for international students and help them to understand what are the challenges they're facing in specific field. Other than that, the executive page has that on her portfolio where she's more focused on the academic level for each student. So she has that included on her platform as well.
I like that, and for all our listeners, viewers around there, shout out to Japan real quick. The reason why I truly enjoy this team is that the transparency and the honesty is real. Yeah. And not only that, Risky, what I like about you is that you do a lot for the community, you do a lot for the university, And I feel like at times you don't get the true respect that you deserve when it comes to all these activities you've done. And as well as the team as well, from Axel, Paige, Faduma, Pamela, you guys are just there for the students first and not yourselves. And I think that's a big thing. And I think we should like just give a quick round of applause for that.
I agree. And it seems that a big thing for you guys, especially from what I'm hearing from you, is that transparency is important and you're gonna make it one of your like big priorities. And it's true in anything in life, you know, transparency is important. It's annoying, you know, when you're being explained something or you're watching something and it's like they're explaining it to you, but there's something more to it and you won't know what it is and then you get screwed over. So yeah, it's very important. It's cool that you're making it something like a main priority of yours.
Hope.
Yes.
Part
So yes, we're gonna take a few minutes and then we're gonna come back with part 2 interviews, which is the questions from Out of the Box. And we're back with the second part of our interview with our guests, the United team that are running for student body at the University of Ottawa. So if you've missed the first part, we were just trying to get to know each of them individually, what they're running for, you know, how long they've been with the Federation, what their main priorities are going to be. And the second part is going to be Reggie and I pulling questions out of this orange box, and it's basically questions in relations to student issues, you know how things may work if they win and all that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick the first one. Okay. So the first question, for you, Risky, if you're elected president, what steps will you take to have a great relationship with all of your peers? So you know sometimes people will look at you as a president and like you seclude yourself. So what would you do to make sure that you have a great relationship with not only your team but like with everyone else on campus? Like making it more inclusive.
Yeah, I think, thank you for the question. I think what's important is to make myself accessible. So president is just a title, making sure that I'm on the ground, that I talk to students, that I hear them. This is why one of my platform points is implementing a system called communicate with your executive. And the same way they book rooms for a library to have study spaces, they book an appointment without the confirmation needed with an executive, and they have access to our schedule. So it's a transparency. So it's a transparent way of showing also how busy and not we are. So making sure that I'm available to students and making sure that we're here to hear you if there's any recommendation, critiques, or any suggestion that we need. It can be just suggesting an artist for the next one-on-one week, which is our Flash week. It can be as simple as that. Someone is in need of a specific book or a specific material for a class.
So would this also count if, let's say, I'm a student and I want to meet with one of you and I just have like a concern? Could it be like something if I wanted to bring that concern, you know, to an executive? Could that be something?
Yeah, definitely. So that booking, that appointment booking system, when you do it, you don't have to specify it if you want. You just book and we see your name and your student number just to ensure that you're a student. And we welcome you in our office, and if it's just a concern, we'll address it and we'll be there to hear it. If it's a question, if it's specific to a prof, even if it's sensitive matter, we'll make sure that we keep it confidential. So it can be anything, just making sure that, hey, our doors are open, you can come anytime.
That's cool. That's cool, because usually it's closed off, right?
Yes.
You don't get to speak to them, so that's cool.
So Bell Let's Talk was just this week. What are your views on mental health and what will you do for the students? Who wants to answer this?
Well, I think first of all, mental health needs to be made a priority by our university. Right now it's not. There's too many tragedies on our campus that aren't properly addressed, and then we don't take the proper steps to ensure that this doesn't happen again. I think personally we need 24/7 in-person mental health on campus. I mentioned this a few times, but we have 24/7 phone lines, but we don't have an office where people can go talk to a person in person 24/7. and you never know when someone needs help or needs a person to talk to. So I think that's important, maybe also paired with like a mental wellness center where people can just go de-stress, have like a relaxing, safe environment where they can feel better. So I think we just need to care about the students more and have more services in place for them to be able to keep healthy mentally as well as physically.
Yeah, it's important. It's becoming a larger elephant in the room, right? No one really likes to talk about it. No one really knows how to approach it. But I personally think that as long as students know that it's something you're trying to tackle, I think that it's a good thing, because it's a huge reality, especially for students, right? Because we deal with so many things, work, personal issues, just being on campus, school stuff. It's so much. So I think it's a good thing. We do have a comment from Layla Mumuni. She says, "That's my team." There you go. All right. As VP Finance, so this is for the person running VP Finance, what financial background experience did you have prior to this upcoming election, and how do you plan on helping students after you're elected?
Well, I'm currently at the University of Fair, so I have to deal with a budget of multi-million-dollar spending, especially for UNI.E.S. We don't have a lot of money. We need to prep correctly, do wages, hire staff, talk about 30+ staff, making sure that everything runs correctly, and then everything is financially responsible. I've done that on that level. I think the SFU budget is a little more, but the difference is not that huge that I'll be able to replicate the success I have in my position into this position.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very nice.
We kind of like touched on this, I would say, question earlier, but I'll ask again. What differentiates your group from the other groups, right?
I have a difference I want to say. That I forgot to say. For example, if students come to us and they want to communicate with us, we have the chance to have people of color in our state. What does that mean? We're bilingual because we passed that test that required that we speak English and French. But I speak Arabic, Axel speaks Kinyarwanda, Pamela speaks Arabic, Faduma speaks also, sorry, I'm forgetting, Somali. So we have that connection that we can get with Russian students, that if they want to express themselves in their language, that we can relate to them. So this is something that our opponents don't have, and that I'm proud to have. That we can reach out to specific words that you can see in English or French, for example.
It would make them feel more comfortable too. If you can go to someone that's an executive that speaks in your native language. If I could go to someone, I don't speak Creole, but if I was Haitian and I could go to an executive that spoke Creole, that would be like 100.
We do have many people.
Did you say you don't speak Creole?
My Creole is bad. Like,
I don't know, I feel like you speak it.
We can speak
I
it.
can speak it, I just choose not to.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, if you're more, obviously you can speak English or French, but if you have like a native tongue and you can speak to someone so high level that's willing to listen to you and and they can communicate in the same native tongue as you, that's the best service you could get, right? Like, you feel comfortable, in expressing yourself, and you don't have to think about what words you're gonna use, I don't know,
I remember like high school, just Miguel, right? When we were like, "What do you got? Doing things."
What?
It's a Somali term. Like, come here or something.
Yeah,
like, come here. That's what say that back in the day.
As we all know, Ottawa will be legalizing marijuana this summer. Have you thought about a prevention plan for cannabis?
I speak too much.
Well, In terms of prevention, of course, making sure that people that are under the age of 19 in the province don't partake in it. That would be a priority, especially if it gets legalized. We want to make sure the same way as we do with alcohol, that underage people on the school are protected and sheltered. For those who are older, I don't think it is our duty to stop them from doing something that's legal for them, but to inform them of the repercussion or what would happen to them in an unbiased way, because everybody has their opinion on it and we're not there to judge, but to help them. For those who want to learn, we'll give them the proper information, and for those who also want to partake, we'll make sure that to create an environment where they can go and do it in a safe way. If it do get legalized, if it doesn't, then we'll follow the law.
Okay. I was asking because, so I went to a different university, and the biggest issue was when you're waiting at the bus stop, already we have to, non-smokers, I don't know if anyone here smokes, but non-smokers, you have to deal with people smoking in the bus shelter. When it says, like, if you're a smoker, you can smoke, but like, I think it's like 500 feet away or whatever. But you have to deal with that already, people who don't respect that. So if you're at a bus stop now after this gets legalized, because it really looks like it's gonna get legalized, when you're at a bus stop and you have someone smoking marijuana, but like not, like within the periphery of non-smokers, what, like, is there anything that you plan on setting up for that? Like,
Yeah, I think
that?
probably be the same as like
Yeah.
the smoking zones. Like there's only certain zones you can go on campus where you can smoke.
Mhm.
Same as smoking cigarettes.
Okay.
I think in terms of like 101 week and like we have a wet 101 week so people can go and drink alcohol. So we offer transportation for the students. We don't allow them to drive themselves because we don't want anyone to drink and drive. The same would go for marijuana. We wouldn't want anyone driving under the influence. So we would make sure to like offer them transportation and offer them various methods of being able to get home safely.
Okay, sounds good.
A lot of students complain about the fees. What strategies or steps can you take to accommodate them?
Well, the fees are too high. They keep going up, especially for international students. So in order to accommodate them, we can offer like student scholarships, but we really need to fight against administration and mobilize to make sure that they stop raising tuition. Also, I don't know if you want to talk about the alternative budget a little bit?
So I introduced the idea of an alternative budget after the Board of Governance meeting they had in this fall. The issue was that they said that they tried to propose the budget to the student, but no one was interested in looking at it. And then so they had to vote on the budget that was presented because no student wanted to amend it. I know for a fact I never received any budget from them. I can tell if any student did. So this year we want a creative approach and study the budget they proposed and make sure to understand every budget line and propose an alternative budget without tuition fee increase, to make sure that the Board of Governor, when they're voting, they know that it's not necessary to take money out of student pocket to be able to invest in education.
And also housing services, food services on campus. They're inaccessible, they're way too expensive. They keep inflating the prices every year again. So I think that they need to freeze all costs until we come up with money-saving programs for low-income students to be able to post on the website and offer these alternatives, as well as textbooks, school supplies, very expensive. Our campus has a campus bookstore where like pens, there's pens for like $15. They don't even let our profs, some of our profs, publish their own books in the bookstore. They make them print them out at the DocuCenter because it's an American corporation who owns this bookstore on campus, so the prices are inflated and they're way too expensive.
Also something too that hits home for a lot of our first year students and international students is the fact that our housing on campus, it closes during like winter breaks, right? Mm-hmm. So students are forced, they're evicted out of their residences that they paid over $10,000 for to go back home. Let's say some students, like we have, international students who live as far as, Morocco, Senegal, we have students from China, and they're all forced to leave their residences during the 2 weeks of Christmas break and then come back during the rest of the year because there isn't, student housing representatives there, the receptions aren't there, the cafeteria is closed. So it really takes a toll on our first year students and senior students who live in these residences to have to be evicted, especially during the winter time in Ottawa. Like, it's really bad. And I know that's something when we were going around campus collecting signatures for during our campaign season, a lot of the first year students really notified us and said, if this is something you can change for the future generation, please help us, because that's amazing.
I did not know that
It's
campus
really
did
messed
that.
up.
Yeah,
It's really messed
and
up.
a lot of international students can't afford to buy a plane ticket home and back just for that.
Well, already for them, it's expensive to
Yeah.
come and study already. So
Yeah.
then doing that is just
It's absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How are we doing on time?
We're good.
We're good. What are some core student issues you are prepared to tackle? So is there anything that was brought to your attention, or that people are expecting from you? What are some core issues you're ready to tackle once you're elected?
So I think the main issue that was brought to my attention would be the club system. So as I mentioned before, we made a club's website this year, and there's a lot of glitches in it. So let's say you go to apply for a budget and we approve the budget, you won't get the notification that we approved the budget and you're receiving it. So then it's back and forth for no reason. That's one of the main issues. So I want to make sure that the club website is fixed this year, and then we also want to make sure that there's a clubs retreat. So you'll know your executives of your clubs, but you won't know other students of other clubs and other executives of other clubs. So I want to make sure we get a clubs retreat. So not only are you forming an interpersonal relationship, but you're also forming an inter-club relationship.
Right.
So executives get to meet each other, students get to meet each other, and who doesn't want to make friends, I think that was one of the main issues that was brought to me.
In the media, sexual abuse and harassment has become frequent. What are some steps you are prepared to take to ensure prevention and student safety on campus and surroundings?
Yeah, so the campaigns department just last semester released a sexual violence prevention campaign for students. It was first it started off as a survey, and then we took those testimonies, made it into a video, and then created kind of a request-based service for students to come, let the student body know where they can seek help and when to seek help, whether you're coming from a student perspective or employee/staff perspective. We offer 2 different types of measures for you to be feeling safe on campus, making sure that the problems or any of the issues that have occurred with anything that's happened in your experience on campus is dealt with properly. It's not perfect. We've created a policy on campus that was recently released, summer of 2016, I believe. And there's some work to do, obviously. Our campus isn't perfect, but we're getting there. And I think it's very important that our university starts working with protection services, so there's the security on campus, as well as Student Federation, who oversees all of the services, and the student body, as well as the Human Rights Office, who would just construct all of this in general. And when the 3 of us organizations kind of finally come up with one solid idea on how to tackle this, I think that would be making campus way more safe than it already is.
As Faduma mentioned, we need to make policy stronger, and I think there's also simple things we can do. Add more protection call boxes on campus for more security, more lights on campus. At night it's very dark. There's certain places that you can become more susceptible to violence, different things like that. Amp up security and measures in residence, things like that.
I'm just in awe, right now, for all our listeners, viewers, I just feel like I want to go into politics right now. I just want to start saying big words and everything, my goodness.
So, University of Ottawa has the reputation of having a bland campus spirit.
Wait.
Listen.
It was me and her.
Listen. I'm gonna finish asking this question. I'm gonna explain why I'm asking it. Why is that? So, from where I come from, which is the University of Carleton, our school spirit is through the roof. And even after you graduate, look at me. I'm still super caca, I'm a raven. And for the record, I went to U of O for a semester and a half. And
You did that long?
A semester, yeah, a semester and a half.
And you went to the other side?
Yeah.
You see how she attributed that?
And it's true, the school spirit is, you can see there's a difference. So what?
Well, let me answer. I'm gonna answer because we're an academic school.
Listen, but you're not, let them answer. So what do you plan on doing that's different to answer that?
Well, if I can start, I think we need to understand why the school spirit is so bland, and it's definitely because of the location. Carleton is a little further away from downtown, so the students have not as many options, or I would say there's not that many competition between the entertainment there, and then so it's not forces them and encourages them to get together and build and have initiative of their own and then support each other. Here, if you're falling short of what the students are expecting, they have downtown and the lead. And once we understood that, we realized that like we need to be even better than what the city is proposing. And I think that's something Faduma is really passionate about, and she built a great plan, so I'm going to let her continue. But first we had to understand the problem and what students wanted, and then she came up with something amazing.
Okay.
Totally agree, 100%. It's our location being like in the core centre-ville. It's very difficult for students to feel like there's anything to do. Like Ottawa is a very government-centric city to begin with, and I find that because our campus is located in a government area too, it kind of deflects or whatever it is. The fact that we can even have any sense of community on our campus, the same way Carleton is, for example. The way that Carleton also has, rebuilt their facilities for the student athletes, and they have the money to do this because of the sponsorships and, the student athletes that go to that campus. There's a real need for these things, you know what I mean? And when we look at our campus, for example, you'll have support from student athletes from specific teams and not some from other teams. So you can see like the men's football team, for example, will get bigger crowds and bigger fan base audience than, for example, like women's volleyball or something, just because like indoors and kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But definitely creating that, like taking away that gap between student athletes and the student body is something I'm really keen on working on in September or when the semester starts, and definitely making sure that when you wear your maroon and gray sweater or your gray and garnet, that you don't have to be a student athlete to feel like a GG, that because you're from the University of Ottawa, you are a GG, we all have the heart of a GG. Doesn't matter if we don't wear the jacket to prove it, but we should have that community to prove that and back that up. And I know that some of the student athletes that I was talking to from different sports teams, they're really excited to have the student federation really back them up and like help them fill their home games, help them support them from away games, also be there for them as student athletes when they're struggling with classes, money, that kind of stuff. They're users of the food banks, they use our services as well. We have a student athlete who's also running on our team as well, and I think it's important building that link between athleticism and academics, and I believe that we're the team to do that, and I'm really excited to be working on that.
That was very dope. I like that. I also like athleticism and academics. I wish I said that. As VP Social, what big events have you done? And what would you like to do in the university for future? What do you got planned? Tell us a bit, tell us our viewers what you got planned once you're elected.
Okay, so the biggest thing I worked on as the campaigns coordinator with Excel was the Ball for the Cure tournament. So it was a vaccine ball tournament. The money went to the World AIDS Day, and we had brought in the community of Ottawa. It was an open event, free. There was free food, free admission, all that kind of stuff. We registered 8 teams. We had over about 100 or 200 students in the gymnasium participating. Everybody won that big trophy, you know what I'm saying, and the cash prize. And it was really dope because I could see that bringing in student athletes also came onto the game with us. We had the women and men's basketball team mixed in with some of the other community teams that we have really talented players here in the city of Ottawa. Like, I am shocked. Like, you don't have to be a student athlete to be talented. Like, the amount of people that we brought in from, like, the hoods, like, I'm talking about the South, the East, the West Siders, all the students came, all the city of Ottawa people came to this gym, and they really showed their stuff. And this is something that I thought, if this is what the students want, we should continue doing these philanthropic events, especially with sports, because what better way of tying in a good cause than sports, right? So that's why we're doing the soccer tournament too. The money will go to the Boys and Girls Club because it's a service that everybody in Ottawa has used once in a lifetime in their life. I've used it, I went to camps there, I feel like you've used it too, you know what I mean? Like it's all over the city, and I'm hoping that when I become Vice President Social, that I continue doing the philanthropic works that I've been doing as a campaigns organizer, but as a volunteer here in the city of Ottawa. And I'm really excited to be planning a dope one-on-one week for the freshman students, but as well as opening up our Fedstock, like our festival or whatever, just to like a bigger audience, like so more people would see it. I know like when Risky and I celebrated French Montana, for example, this year on campus, a lot of students were like, yo, how do we get in, you know? But it was just close for just like the one-on-oneers and stuff. But whoever we end up bringing in September, I really want to open that up to like a grander scale so that everyone can enjoy what the Student Federation brings, and just to kind of keep going at it and picking each other's brains like that. So I don't know if anyone else wants to jump on that. But.
Well, what she says is a good point. And we're also trying to open it to attract students who come to Ottawa. So potential high school students who, if they are choosing between Carleton and Ottawa, they end up in Ottawa because of their student federation. And also making sure that you consult students on the artists they want to see. It's important to, we don't pick whoever we like, we pick whoever the student wants. So we make surveys and we ask probably the students on social media who you want to see, and then we put some list of artists, headliners, who you want to see as openers, and at the same time we give opportunity during the concert to have openers that are from the city or even that they are students. So in the UNI.E.S concert we have a group called UNI.E.S, and UNI.E.S, they are students in Ottawa, so we give them a chance to perform and to open for a big artist like UNI.E.S.
And just to talk about UNI.E.S as well, UNI.E.S is a French rapper, and pretty much bilingualism is a big part of the Federation. And we don't talk about enough, like just UNI.E.S coming to Ottawa is a big event for y'all. So just big ups to that as well. And just in terms of bilingualism, I truly believe that UNI.E.S coming here will just only boost up bilingualism in the Federation, but just in the university spirits as well. But that's something very major. I think we have one last question.
Yes, last question. How is the, okay, so this is where the transparency comes. How is the SFUO funded, and how are you paid? Where does the money actually go? So I'm the one who actually came up with this question, because when I went to Carleton, you guys SFUO, it's CUSA. So there was a popular group that basically wins every year. And there's a whole thing about like where their money went and like how they spent their money and how they lied about how they spent their money. So I thought, I'm gonna ask this question because they never really answered the question for us when I was at Carleton. It was super like behind the scenes, like no one knew, it was super secretive. So for you guys, like how is it funded, where does the money go, or well, where will it go? That kind of stuff.
I'm the current VP Finance, so I'm gonna speak on that. So how the SFU works is, students, they pay their tuition fees, and there's a portion from that tuition fee that goes to the student federation. It was voted in the past by many referendum, and we get around $200 per semester per year, from the students, and it's divided among each services. So we have different budget. So for example, there's $1 something that goes to the iHouse, goes to Peer Help Center, Student Rights Center, and then we have the leftover for the SFU administration. How much we get paid? We get paid $36,000. It's public information on Wikipedia. We get simple benefits, our phone, because we use our phone every day. Other than that, we make a budget during the summer, and then we present it to the Board of Administration, and it gets approved. So we don't make the final decision on what's going to be spent. So there is a Board of Administration of 34 people, and we all together make that decision to approve the budget. We allocate specific money to specific things. For example, conferences, there are mandatory conferences during the year. We have also social events that we need to focus on, campaigns as well, and for example, one week has their own budget because it's a 1 week full activities. So whatever expenditure that is being made by the executive is approved on a higher level by students, and those board members are elected as well. Other than that, I don't know what happened at CUSA or the scandal that they have, but it's important to be careful with the media because they often point out something with wrong information. So you need to dig in to get the exact information.
And there you have it. This is UNI.E. Before we conclude this interview, just to tell everybody when is voting and why you should vote for
You have 2 minutes, by the way.
Voting is February 7th, 8th, and 9th. Get out, get engaged in your student politics. You should vote for UNI.E because we're a diverse group of students who want to improve student lives, make campus better. Check out our platform, check out our Facebook page, United-Uni. That's our website.
Yeah.
There's polling stations all over campus, and I think it's important that students go out and vote just because it's their democratic right, practice your right, and vote for the party you feel well represents the University of Ottawa. So there you go.
On peut le faire en français.
Oui,
On parle français, on est aussi, parmi d'entre nous, on est plusieurs francophones, donc n'hésitez pas à venir nous adresser en français, n'oubliez pas d'aller voter. Je vous invite à regarder les deux partis pour faire la comparaison. On représente une diversité culturelle, c'est important aussi d'apprendre à nous connaître sur le plan personnel. Et votez UNI, n'oubliez pas d'aller lire nos plateformes united-uni.ca. Et n'oubliez pas le 7, 8, 9 février.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for coming. We're super excited. We were very excited when we got an email from you because it's something different. We haven't done anything like this before. It's the first time, so we're happy you wanted to come and that we got to do this with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
No problem. So we're going to take a quick break and then we're going to be back with the rest of the show. And we're back with the last part of the show. So we have some time, so we're going to do the relationship question. So as you can see, we're holding a box and it has relationship questions. And we're just going to pick one. So Reggie and I this time, we have no idea what it is, so we're going to be put on the spot and we're going to have to answer for you guys. Do you want to pick the question?
Yeah, so how many do we do? Just one?
Just one, just pick one.
Let it be a girl one. Oh, this one has a big paragraph. Yo. If a guy was seeing two girls at the same time, but the girls didn't know, and one of them found out, should the girl be mad at the other girl or should she be mad at her man? Well, it's not your man because he was seeing you. You should be mad at your girl because I'm pretty sure y'all had conversations about you meeting or talking to this so-and-so. And I think you should tell your girl that I think you're mad disrespectful and that stuff like that should never happen again. And as well as that, I feel like you should also say to your girl, is this the remix of Same Girl? So same guy?
But what if it was a context where the girls don't know each other and the guy's seeing one girl and he's saying, hey, like that's my girlfriend, but then behind closed doors he's hanging out with another girl too, but they don't know each other until they find out that they both exist in this guy's life.
So how would they find out? Like in terms of like just going outside walking?
Because people talk in Ottawa.
Okay. Then you become mad at the guy because the guy played you. All honesty, I can't sugarcoat it. I can't say much about it, but I think that's that.
Yeah. So if we take it in that context, so the two girls that know each other, obviously I think you should be mad at the guy. Obviously the girl had no idea this was happening. So definitely be mad at the guy and leave him. Like don't believe him when he tells you, oh, like I'm going to leave the girl. Like he hasn't left the girl. He's just pretending he has, and you're just still playing along with the game. So then you should, if that's your situation, then you should be mad at yourself for not like trying to be a part of the solution. But if this is like it's a friend, because it could be sometimes it's friends. And most likely your friend would know that you're seeing this guy, and obviously the guy knows what he's doing, then I think that you should be mad at both of them, but mostly at your friend, because your friend is going behind your back, doing this to you, and like the guy's just being a dog, really. But I think you should unfriend the friend and leave the guy, and then they can deal with each other.
Oh, one more?
No, we're running out of time. Yeah, so I am super happy with today's interview. It was really cool. It was different to have all the members of the United team running for the student body at the University of Ottawa. It was really cool to hear what they were looking forward to, what their goals would be. If I was a U of O student, they would have my vote, just because it's true, they speak to the name of their team, right? They're united, they each have different backgrounds, so it shows that there's inclusion at the executive level. They will offer services, you can meet with them and they can speak in your native tongue, obviously if they speak it. But also, like, to know that you can have an executive that's, I'm just gonna say that's not a white person, is pretty cool, because we've seen a lot of it. Look at H&M. Their board of executives is all white people, and look at what they did. No one on the board obviously was gonna say anything, because there's no one of color to say, hey, we should do that. We should have a black kid wear a hoodie or sweater that says coolest monkey in the jungle. Like, just that kind of stuff. Not because, like, I'm not saying that just to be mean, I'm just saying it's true. Like, it's the time, the majority of students on campuses are people of color. And so I feel like at an executive level, it should be well represented. So
I agree with Cass. I just believe that for having United coming here, they talk about just representing different countries, different cultures, and then they're all united as one. They don't represent one person, but a group of different ethnicities, religions at the same time, and that's why they're called United. And I think it was a great interview. It was very different just for our listeners around the world. Everybody that tunes in Power Circle every week. Feel free to leave us messages, send us Snapchats, whatever the case may be. And that was today's episode.
Yes, and I just want to give a quick shout out to our new listeners on Stitcher, because we're on Stitcher. It's basically, so being on Audio Boom, it's great for us because we're able to, as soon as we release an episode, it goes on multiple platforms. And so Stitcher is a new platform that we're on alongside iTunes, and also we're on Spotify.
That's so dope. Just think about it. Somebody around the world could just see Power Circle.
Yeah, so we gained a lot of new listeners in Paris. A lot, and I mean, like, before it was a bit, but now it's a lot of them that listen to us in Paris. So
we should speak French for Paris.
Yeah.
Merci Paris, merci.
We speak French. It's just that, English usually wins. So.
Donc, nos écouteurs à Paris, merci infiniment.
And on that note, I think we're gonna end the episode. So see you next Saturday.
What's up, Japan? Bye, Korea. South Korea.